Hi, and welcome to the final lecture for SPCM 2 or 101. Today we're talking about small group communication. You've made it. You've gotten through the semester. You've done a lot of work. You've done good work. You've done hard work. And you're going to do one more project that's actually pretty difficult because communicating in groups, let's face it, sucks. It's hard. I teach a small group class, and it's my favorite class to teach. And let me tell you, after years of teaching, I can tell you that students hate to communicate and work in small groups, which is all the more reason to talk about it, to teach it, and to do it. So we should probably first define what a small group is. If you've read chapter 13, which you should have, you should know that a small group is often composed of 3 to 15 members with an average of about 7 or 8. Now, this number is arbitrary. Your textbook gives this number, but if you picked up another textbook, it would give you another one. Typically, we understand that a small group is less than 20, more than 2, and can fall anywhere between the two. Spontaneous communication is a really crucial aspect of small groups. Small groups do not have scripts that they operate off of. They interact strategically, spontaneously, and in the moment. A small group and its members are bound by an interdependent goal. That is a goal that means each member succeeds as well as the group succeeds. And we know that groups do something. They're never just groups, right? Groups are rallied around something, whether it's a friendship or a specific task. There are things that a group does. And we know that there are advantages and disadvantages of working in groups. Some of the advantages are quite obvious. The more people you put in a group, the more ideas you have, the more ideas you're able to generate, and the more manpower, or person power, I should say, you're able to put forth. That's really, really good. There are principles of small group communication that suggest our basic principles of math are wrong. 1 plus 1 does not equal 2. 1 plus 1 equals 3. Because you've got what one person can do, what the other person can do, plus what they can do together, which adds up to essentially having 3 people, even though it's only 2. But there are also disadvantages. One of the disadvantages are it's hard to work in groups. Point blank, it is difficult. It's difficult to organize schedules. It's difficult to organize personalities. It's difficult. It's also difficult to make sure that you don't suffer from groupthink, which is where people are in a group and in an effort to just make a decision, people agree with something they don't really agree with. That's groupthink. People aren't willing to speak up and say, you know what? No, I don't think that's a good idea, because they don't want to be perceived as being the odd man out or the one that just can't get anything done in the group. So groupthink is a really interesting concept, and I want you to really think about that as you're reading chapter 13. Like I said, groups are often rallied around something, and one of the big things groups do is they problem solve. Groups are organized and established to help solve problems. In an organization, a group might be established because there have been a series of employee complaints, and now the group is a task force attempting to remedy some of those complaints. There might be political groups that attempt to rally around some problem. So there's a lot of problem solving that occurs in group settings. And a lot of the communication theory around problem solving in groups and teams goes back to John Dewey's reflective thinking model. John Dewey is the father of what we call pragmatism, which is basically the idea that research should be useful. And it goes far beyond that, but that's kind of the simple analysis. But these 5 steps comprise Dewey's model, and if you've read chapter 13, you know this. Number 1, you locate and define the question. What are you trying to answer? Well, if you were in a task force trying to remedy employee complaints, the question would be, what can this organization do to make it a more productive work environment and solve employee issues? And then step 2 is analyze the question. Is that good enough? Will that really help us in our goal? 3, you generate possible solutions. So what are the possibilities? Well, we could give everybody a $500 bonus. That would be great, but step 4 says choose the best solution. Well, it might not be the best for the company if we give everybody $500. It might solve our problem, but we can't afford to do that. So you generate a list of problems, and solutions and pick the best one. And then you implement it, step 5. So pages 109 through 111 really hash out what this looks like. Pay close attention to that because you are going to walk through these concepts as you work in your groups and teams. You are going to give a group presentation, and so it's important to talk about how groups give presentations. I will upload, or have uploaded rather, separate instructions for how to film a group speech because that presents difficulties in and of itself. But know that group presentations are powerful and regular. A jury is a group presentation, right? Talk shows are often group presentations. So we see these things all the time. We got to learn how to do them well. There are different types of group presentations, and your textbook mentioned those, such as a panel, a symposium, a colloquium, a forum. I'm not going to hash out what those are because they're pretty simple, but make sure you look into it. But what I really do want to talk about is leadership in groups. Because you are a group made up of several or many members, somebody has to lead, right? In an ideal world, everybody would lead equally and the responsibility level would be the same, but let me just tell you, that does not happen. So somebody is going to have to be a designated leader. They might emerge as a leader where it just feels natural that they would lead. They might be selectively identified as a leader. They might be chosen or elected as a leader. There's different ways that leadership emerges, and your textbook talks a little bit about that. But it's important to identify and recognize a leader and then also respect their leadership. I want you to really, really think about that as you move forward into the group process. Think about who that leader is. Respect their leadership. Respect the leadership that other people bring to the table as well. And there are some principles that you can follow to succeed in groups, and they're listed on pages 112 and 113. They are to participate actively, to avoid conflict if possible, follow through with all assignments and things you say you're going to do, and commit to the group task. So number 1, participate actively. Don't be that guy. Don't be that girl. The one that doesn't respond to group emails, group texts, group chats. Actively participate. Make a commitment. This is one assignment. It's not that hard. So for 1 week, put everything else aside and be actively involved. 2, the textbook says avoid conflict. I don't like that because some conflict is good. It's good to disagree. If you don't disagree, you might fall prey to groupthink. But avoid stupid conflict. Avoid personality conflict. Avoid things that don't really matter. Have conflict, but have it in a healthy way. Then, follow through with group assignments. If you say you're going to do something, do it. No questions asked. Do it early, and if nothing else, do it on time. And then 4, commit to the group task. You've been assigned a problem as a group to solve, so commit to it. Whether you care about that task or not, it's been assigned to you, so you have to care about it. You may not want to be on an employee task force in the future, but if you're assigned to it, you're going to have to care about it. Be deliberate. Think through it. Be involved. Be passionate. And if you don't have it, fake it. So, where does this leave us? Well, you will not have to hear my voice again on any lectures for the rest of the semester. You know why? Because this was the last one. Congratulations for getting through. I look forward to hearing your feedback about how this course did and did not work for you. I know it's a speech course, and I know it's a course that people really hate to take, but I hope that you've learned something. I trust that you have. I hope that it's been fun, or as fun as a speech course can be. And I really hope you'll keep in contact with me in the future. I want to know how you use some of these principles. I want to know what you do in your life. I want to know how you succeed because I really believe that you can succeed and that you're going to succeed. And now you're going to be a good communicator no matter what you go out and do. So I hope to hear from you again in the future. Keep plugging on. You still got some assignments left for this semester. As always, if you have questions, please email me or call. Until next time, or I guess not. Until I hear from you again. Have a fantastic rest of the semester. Have a fantastic rest of the year. And have a fantastic rest of your life as you go on and do big things. Bye-bye.